Dear students, welcome back to the video, and in this video I'm going to discuss about human skin. So you will learn basic anatomy of skin and thermoregulation, which is one of the important jobs of the skin. So let's start the video. Well, for your recall, I have just added some important things about human skin, so you'll see them one by one. If you look at your skin, then it is the largest organ since it is covering the entire body. And this is performing many functions. I have listed 3. So human skin protects from germs, like it is giving you protection against so many microorganisms that are ranging from bacteria to viruses and even to fungi. Besides this, human skin also serves as a shield against harmful UV radiation, so its main task is protection. Another thing, human skin is a sensory organ just because of the nerve receptors. So it gives you sense of touch, so you can differentiate between a hot object and a cold object. You can feel the texture of the surfaces or of any material. So this gives sense of touch, and with this touch you can also operate your Android phones. So this is one of the great things that human skin is offering. A very important function that human skin is performing is regulation of our body temperature, which is very essential. And this is termed as thermoregulation, which is part of uh, homeostasis. We'll see it later, like we'll see it after human skin anatomy. So without wasting our time, I'm just moving towards the anatomy of human skin. So primarily, if you look at the anatomy of the human skin, that consists of 3 main layers: epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. You will get a fair idea with the help of this longitudinal section of our skin. So here is the first layer, epidermis, that is the outermost layer. Then we have dermis, which is having multiple structures in it. And below dermis, there is another layer, which is subcutaneous layer, and we also call it hypodermis since it is present below dermis. So let's start with the first and outermost layer, that is epidermis. You can see, if you get a closer look, then epidermis is composed of flattened cells, and these are stratified squamous epithelial cells. They are dead keratinized cells. Why are they dead? Because they don't bear any nucleus or any sort of cell organelle. They're just termed as keratinocytes. More than 90% of epidermis is formed with the help of the keratinocytes, which produce keratin. Well, the properties of keratin is that it's actually that kind of protein which resists water. So just because of this, this epidermis is water resistant. It is impermeable to water. Another thing that you might have observed, that there are no blood vessels in epidermis. So you just observed right. Epidermis doesn't bear any sort of blood vessel in it, and all these cells are dead. They just shed off and they're replaced by the new ones. So this is one of the things about the epidermis. So epidermis is acting, what is the function of this epidermis? So it is acting as the protective covering. It is shielding your body from harmful UV radiation, and this is also water resistant. So in all, just because of this, your skin is preventive, is protective against so many things. I hope that you have got this epidermis. Now you can see there are some dermal papillae. The dermal papillae, they are present, this thin layer is present in between epidermis and dermis, and it functions to increase the surface area of both the epidermis and dermis. Now we are jumping in dermis. So let's start with dermis. You can find so many structures lying in dermis. So first you'll start with nerves. You can see there are so many receptors lying in dermis. They're meant for detection of temperature changes, for pressure changes, for pain. So in this elastic skin, there are 2 receptors mentioned, cold receptors and heat receptors. So cold receptors and heat receptors, they are thermoreceptors. They will detect the changes in temperature. So cold receptors are sensitive to low temperature, while heat receptors, they are sensitive to high temperature. And just because of this, we can sense these temperature changes. Along with this nerve and hole in the in the dermis, there are blood vessels found. So there are blood capillaries, which are actually meant for the nutrition purpose, and these blood vessels, they are doing thermoregulation. How you will learn in the mechanism of thermoregulation in detail. We have in the connective tissue here, which is collagen basically, and now we are moving towards two more most important glands, and these are sweat glands and sebaceous gland. First, I'll discuss sweat gland. As the name is suggesting you, the sweat gland is producing sweat. And what is sweat? If you know it, then you can comment. But for your understanding, I just want to tell you that sweat is basically a fluid that is made up of water, and there are so many toxic waste or metabolic waste products are in it, like sodium salts. There are some nitrogenous waste like urea, ammonia. These are actually uh, excreted through the sweat pore. And the sweat pores, by the way, they are lying on the surface of the skin. So through sweat pores, the sweat is actually released on the surface and then it is evaporated, so that the skin is also acting as an excretory organ too. This is one important thing. Another gland that you can see here is sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland, this is usually present along the hair follicle. If you look at the sebaceous gland, then it produces an oily secretion which is termed as sebum, and the sebum is released on the surface of the skin, which lubricates the skin surface. And this sebaceous gland also produces antioxidants, which actually protects you against the natural light's harmful radiation. So this is about the sebaceous gland. And if you look at this hair, this is hair follicle, and it has a bulb-like structure, which is actually getting its nutrition from these blood vessels. They're present at its base, and then this is elongating to the hair shaft. These are basically attached to your skin. These are also meant for thermoregulation, okay? And they're also trapping the dust particles or everything, and they're just thereby saving our body. I hope that you've got it. Now you'll see a very important muscle, and these are erector pili muscles. They are present along the hair, and they are meant for thermoregulation again. So all these structures of dermis, I have different branches. So there's sweat gland, sebaceous gland, and then we see a muscle, a erector pili muscle in the dermis. Now we'll move towards the last layer of the skin, and that is subcutaneous layer. You can see that this is made up of adipose tissue, fat cells, and basically its function is insulation, and it is meant for storage of energy, so that the skin gets nutrition, and this is quite healthy. And then there are so many muscles below it. So I hope that you understood it. Okay, so now we are proceeding with mechanism of thermoregulation. As you know, that thermoregulation is the maintenance of body temperature. And for a human body, an optimum temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, which is very important for the human body to maintain, because many metabolic reactions are happening inside our body and they need optimum temperature. So this is the requirements of the body, and that is fulfilled by our human skin, by our skin. So we'll see how the body is maintaining its temperature in hot conditions and cold conditions through this skin. So if you look at hot conditions, then in hot conditions the temperature is high. So in increased temperature conditions, your body reacts. There is more production of sweat, and this is how the sweat comes on the surface of the skin, and with the heat it just evaporates, which gives you sense of cooling. And if you notice, then during hot weather our hair lay down flat. This is because the erector pili muscles, they just relax, which lay down the hair, and this is how our temperature is maintained. We don't get that much heat from surrounding. Beside this, there is vasodilation. You know that arterioles are present in the dermis, so they actually dilate, and this is how the blood flow in the arteriole increases. And just because of this, the heat is actually lost in the surrounding. Now we will see how the skin is maintaining the temperature in cold conditions. So there is decrease in sweat production, not much sweat is produced, and this is how what happens. It prevents energy loss. On the other hand, the rector pili muscles, they just contract, so that results in the erection of hair, and the heat is trapped inside. Beside this, the blood flow in the blood vessel decreases, which actually reduces the diameter of the blood vessel. So there is vasoconstriction. This is also meant to actually trap the energy inside in cold conditions. This is it. I hope that you understood the human skin anatomy and how is it regulating the temperature. If you like this video, hit the like button, turn the notification bell icon on, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Take care. I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye.